Hello there, my name is Patrick Wentz, and today I will be doing two simple book reviews. A little overview first. I will tell you exactly how I will do these book reviews, the format I will use. First, I'll do an introduction to the author, who you may or may not be familiar with. I will do a short overview of the book, trying not to give away too much of the plot. So if you've not read the book before, you can certainly read it now, and I won't be giving too much away. And then I will give you my ideas whether you should read it or not read it. And that is purely up to you, of course. So, the first book on the left is, of course, J.R.R. Tolkien's famous book, The Hobbit. J.R.R. Tolkien was a British academic who was a professor at Oxford and also supplemented his income by tutoring. Mr. Tolkien started working on The Hobbit in 1930 when he was bored grading undergraduate papers. I've been there, done that, and I understand him completely. By 1932, he finished the story and lent out several copies to his friends and other people, such as C.S. Lewis. One copy landed on the desk of a publisher, Stanley Unwin, and after getting his 10-year-old son's seal of approval, published 1,500 copies in 1937, and as they say, the rest is history. Overview. If you have been living under a hill and don't know it by now, The Hobbit is 305 pages of pure gold. The book, of course, is fiction and set in the Middle Earth, a realm of Mr. Tolkien's making, full of dragons, wizards, dwarves, elves, goblins, trolls, men, and many other assorted characters. The book starts off with an introduction of a hobbit named Bilbo Baggins and a wizard named Gandalf and 13 surly dwarves. Bilbo the Hobbit, of course, is convinced to go on an adventure by Gandalf to help the dwarves reclaim their lost fortune. At first, you think this book is going to be a mere treasure hunt filled with lots of adventure. And it is. But it's more than that. It is, of course, set up as a 3-act story. The introduction, lots of confrontation, and finally a resolution at the end. But everybody is wrong. The entire book is a setup to finding a MacGuffin. In this case, the MacGuffin is a magical ring, and by accident, of course, it is found, and which sets up the trilogy of the Lord of the Rings. So well done, Mr. Tolkien. You fooled everybody into reading this book, which sets up your next 3 books. I'm sure your publisher was very proud of you. Should you read it? Yes. It is the best book I have ever read, and I have read it over half a dozen times. The book is like a slow-moving tsunami that it starts on the shores of the Shire and crashes on the shores of the lonely mountain. You are more than happy to go along spellbound, page after page, riding on the crest of this great wave. A warning, once you have read it, this book will captivate you for the rest of your life. Who is this book for? This book is for everybody, ages 10 until you die. I recommend reading it at least once a decade until you die. So, the second book is The Road. Cormac McCarthy grew up in Appalachia where his dad took a job with the TVA, the Tennessee Valley Authority. His first book was titled The Orchard Keeper and was a modest success. Between 1965 and 1992, you could rightfully call him the best American writer no one has ever heard of. In 1992, he published All the Pretty Horses and was anonymous no more. In 2003, while traveling with his son, he started this book, The Road, published in 2006, and it, of course, won a Pulitzer Prize. Overview. A fictional novel set in post-apocalyptic America in the not-so-distant future. A man and his young son are barely scraping by. Neither the boy or the dad has a name. The father realizes he must find a safer place for him and his son to live after having exhausted all the resources around them. They therefore set off on the road, where they have all sorts of unpleasant experiences with the weather, cannibals, and various assorted bad people. The book comes to its conclusions on the shores of the ocean. While once again a three-act story, its main driving force is the responsibility the father feels for his young son. Should you read it? God, yes, you should. You should read it exactly once and then return it to the library or lock it up someplace safe where all the bad people in it cannot harm you ever again. Seriously, I had nightmares about the characters in this book for weeks after reading it. It is by far the best dystopian novel I've ever read, and reading it once is more than enough. It is a very great book, and I highly recommend it. Short compare and contrast of the two books. First of all, the J.R.R. Tolkien's book, spellbinds you with his elegant, witty style, delightful creatures, and magical world he created for you. You are more than happy to go along anywhere he takes you. Cormac McCarthy, on the other hand, in his book, The Road, hits you over the head with an axe handle, binds your hands behind your back, and then at gunpoint forces you along with him to the end of the road. In their own distinct ways, these authors wrote two of the best novels ever written. I highly suggest that you read them both. I hope you have enjoyed this two-book review, simple review, and I hope you stay tuned for more two-book reviews in the future. Okay, everybody have a great day, and I will see you later.